welcome back to the Tonny and Tim show. I'm Tonny.
And I'm Tim.
And welcome back to the show. Of course, we've had a long break of football. Of course, the FA Cup is always a break at the show here.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of interesting things on that weekend. Of course, being that this is a transfer period, we've had a lot of big news, a lot of big breakthroughs for small clubs and big clubs alike. We had very significant movements, but we'll come to those in a bit. Timothy, the EPL returns tonight.
Yeah, Tony, it returns tonight with a few games, I think 3 games tonight. But the big one coming in tomorrow, Tony, where Tottenham host Man United. And I was just looking at the previous records, and United has not won at Tottenham since 2012. So I think that's a big game for a United side that's trying to catch up with Man City if in case.
Of course, that's definitely the big game of the round. Manchester United, like you said, traveling to a Spurs place. They haven't won there, Timothy, but let's not forget that this is Wembley, a place that they enjoy playing at. They last lost at the Wembley when they played Barcelona in the Champions League final in 2011, I think. But Spurs have looked like they're always the better side when they host Manchester United. It is something that we'll be looking out for, especially now that Manchester United have Sanchez in their ranks up front.
Yeah, Tony, and I think this is a move that Jose Mourinho has done to bring in Sanchez into the United team. I think against the big sides, he has been able to at least match them and try to get a draw, especially when he's away. But to get the win, I think now he needs this kind of player. These are players whereby you can say, let the rest defend, and these 2-3 players go and attack, and Sanchez can deliver the goods on such a night.
Sanchez definitely will be hoping to make his debut. He made his first Premier League appearance for Man United in the FA Cup last Friday, making a man of the match performance there. We expect that from the kind of player that he is. But Spurs have not done a lot in this transfer market during this January period. Do you think?
Tony, I don't think it will be a problem for Spurs. We've known Spurs. Danny Levy, I think, from the hierarchy, is a guy who doesn't want to splash money. He does not buy these big players. He tries to get talent from,
especially when you don't need them.
Exactly, and I don't think he needs them, Tony. So I would expect Spurs not to be coy or buoyed by not signing any player. They should be able to put up their first 11. We know they have a terrific starting 11. And yeah, I think they will match up United in this game.
Of course, this is the game that Harry Kane will be looking to. Like we said, he's always looking to break records. But this time he needs only one more goal in a Spurs shirt to get to 100 EPL goals. They're something that every time he comes into a game expecting a goal.
Antonio, what a way to make 100 goals against United. It will be a better memory for him. So I think Harry Kane will be trying out to get this goal tomorrow.
Of course, this will be very interesting, seeing as Mourinho has, after the purchase of Sanchez, has not done a lot of transfer activity. We don't expect him to go into the market much.
No.
Of course, now that it's closing tomorrow, and they don't have big injury concerns now that we only know Zlatan and Bailly are the long-term activities, with Zlatan talked about as being a player that might be heading to the MLS.
Yeah.
But Manchester United should have the depth in them, especially with the addition of Sanchez up front to win this game.
We've discussed the addition of Sanchez, and I think everyone is waiting to see what is going to happen. We've said before that it's going to affect 2-3 players in United. Of course, the FA Cup game could not define the full story of Sanchez's addition, but a game like this tomorrow against Spurs is going to tell us how will Mourinho be playing, not only in the Premier League but also in the Champions League. So it's a game we need to watch and to give us an insight into this.
What's your prediction, Timothy?
I'm going for draw, Tony. I'm going for draw.
Of course, we'll be waiting to see how that game pans out. I've gone for 2-1 win for Manchester United. They've not won at Spurs since 2012. So this will be a very big game for them, and they'll be looking forward to this game. A couple of the players in the first 11 had a long rest, of course, over the weekend, and we should be waiting to see. Of course, Spurs fielded a very strong side against Newport
they did.
And still managed only a draw 1-1 away.
Yeah, I don't know, Spurs is becoming poor, Tony. If you look at their last 2 games, to Newport County and then to Southampton. They drew both 1-1, and maybe they have the fear factor when they go away. But even at Wembley, Spurs usually not terrific. But it's a game we need to sit on. I think it's a draw.
We'll definitely keep our eyes on that game there. But of course, kicking off tonight, we have Swansea at the Liberty Stadium in 20th place, fresh from a victory over Liverpool last time out in the league, hosting Arsenal in 6th. A team that has also just acquired Henrik Mkhitaryan, a player we think will start tonight.
Yeah, Tony, if Arsenal didn't have Mkhitaryan, I was going to mention this show, Swansea will win. Yeah, but Tony, just like we said, Crystal Palace was going down. We had almost also buried Swansea City, Tony. But if you look at their previous results, they are now at bottom with 20 points, and this is the same points that West Brom has. And if you look at them, if they get a win and then results go their way, I think if maybe Stoke City lost, Swansea will be out of the relegation zone, Tony. So
it's very tight.
This is a game where Swansea is going to approach trying to see if they can win, and Arsenal must be also at their best.
Of course, Arsenal definitely needs to be at their best, especially that they had a long weekend off. They are already out of the FA Cup, so they didn't have any football to play there. But of course, Sanchez is off to United, like we said. Lacazette back among the goals. In the last game that we saw, he was playing a lot better than we've seen in the past couple of games. And he's a player that will be looking to play well in this one, especially with all the vultures surrounding Aubameyang, especially Arsenal. And if Aubameyang comes, Lacazette looks like the most likely casualty if the coach doesn't decide to play Aubameyang out on the left like he can do. But it will be a big
Tony, when they talk about Aubameyang, actually he's going, I think this is going to help Lacazette, Tony. One, he has to improve his game now. He's gonna deliver the goods. He has to know that if I don't deliver, there's another better striker coming in. Of course, I believe he's almost the same level as Aubameyang. And then two, he's now getting better service from Mkhitaryan, Tony. I think Mkhitaryan, unlike Sanchez wanted also to go for goal by himself, but Mkhitaryan, he has some bit of Ozil in him that let the number 9 get the goals. So he's gonna create for this guy some chances. But when you mention Aubameyang coming in, 52 million, Tony, on Lacazette, I don't think he's going on bench. Arsenal has to reshuffle this lineup and play 4-4-2 maybe, and accommodate these two guys, Tony.
It will be very interesting to see what Wenger does. One worry for me though is, we've seen it with Wenger, he doesn't like to throw his new signings into the deep, and we might not see Mkhitaryan maybe.
No, Tony, no, we have to see Mkhitaryan. This is not a deep end if you're going to Liberty Stadium. This is where you would want to play Mkhitaryan. Let him show what he can do. And this is the reason why I think Arsenal is going to win. If Mkhitaryan starts, Tony, he will break down this defense, and Arsenal should be able to win this 2-1. I've
gone for a 2-0 draw. Of course, Swansea themselves looking to get some signings in place. They're looking to get Andre Ayew, a player that had a very good time at the Liberty Stadium. They're trying to get him back from West Ham, where he has struggled a bit for goals and even game time. But they also had a draw in the FA Cup against a lowly team. They will be looking to add some results together, especially with the new coach in, and of course that big win that they had against Liverpool. Very, very surprising result. They'll be looking to have another surprise, but maybe Arsenal will have a lot more for them this time.
Yeah, I think Arsenal will have a lot more. Just like I said, I think Arsenal will win this 2-1, but it won't be comfortable for Arsenal.
I've gone for a 2-0 draw, a 2-0 win for Arsenal there. Everyone will be hoping that they can keep pushing on down. 42 points, which is very, very far off top place. Let alone the top.
No, it's far off, Tony, and I'm trying to. I tried to mention this off air that I think the team Arsene Wenger is building is trying to strengthen his squad.
If Aubameyang comes.
Yes, so that they can win the UEFA Cup and go to the Champions League through the same route United used last season.
Very interesting, of course. We'll be seeing what Wenger does in the last half of, and in the last days of the transfer market, now less than 48 hours away. But we'll be waiting to see how that happens. The other big game that we'll be having will be Huddersfield taking on Liverpool at home. Of course, they're currently 14th place, and they had also a draw in the FA Cup. Lots of teams had draws on the weekend in the FA Cup, but they're looking for a Liverpool team that has just offloaded Sturridge to West Brom?
Tony, Liverpool has offloaded Sturridge to West Brom. Yeah, you could say offloading because they have not used him, I think, the last games. So I think it's a better deal for Sturridge. So if he has hope of going to Russia with the English team. But
If there is any hope.
of course, but I would like to start by saying I am seeing a draw in this game. With all due respect to this Liverpool side, Tony, after wowing the entire world with
A win at
with
Man
a
City.
win against Man City, and everyone was like, that should be a stepping stone for Liverpool. They're gonna damage anything they see. They've gone ahead and lost
Swansea.
to Swansea,
Lost to West
and
Brom.
then lost to West Brom at home, Tony. And I was watching that game, and Liverpool started the same team that played against Swansea, and that was all a similar team that beat Manchester City. So you start asking yourself, what is it about Liverpool? Is it the team? Is it the nature of the club? I can't understand. And Tony, this is the reason why I'm saying David Wagner will say,
Let's have a go.
these two teams beat Liverpool. Let's have a go. And any attack on this Liverpool team, for every three, there's a goal, Tony.
Very interesting, especially after they brought in a 75 million defender. It will be interesting to see how Liverpool does, especially now also that they've lost Sturridge. They've not brought in anyone up front. They now have only Dominic Solanke and Ings as the replacements for
And
Fabinho
Tony,
in case of anything.
these are not replacements. I want to tell you what Sturridge they brought to the table. If in case Fabinho got injured or is taken off, Ings and Solanke cannot deliver this. Sturridge is a proven goal scorer. He knows the net from any angle. These two guys, I think Klopp is starting to cause his own problem. I think he's causing his own problem because I don't know why you're offloading, and Liverpool fans are starting to question Klopp. And if they drop points tonight, then I think Klopp will start worrying.
It will be a big problem for Klopp. Of course, he is just 6 points behind Manchester United.
Yeah.
Like we said, he missed out on closing that gap to 3 last time out against Swansea. They have another away fixture today. It's a big problem for Liverpool if they are to drop points in this one.
Big.
I don't see them dropping points, though. I think that Mohamed Salah and company will be able to pick this one up. And I've gone for a 3-1 Liverpool win. But we'll be keeping our eyes on Liverpool. It has flattered to deceive in the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, Tony, it's one we shall pay attention, and hopefully we shall bring in the post-match digestion.
Of course, these are only just our predictions after we analyze whatever has been happening in the past couple of games, the lineups that we see, and the injury news and all the nature surrounding the game. Tomorrow, though, we have Chelsea hosting Bournemouth. A game I think they should be able to win 2-0.
Yeah, Chelsea should be comfortable winners over Bournemouth, Tony. I don't think Bournemouth will threaten Chelsea. Yeah, I think they have a very good record against Eddie Howe's side, and I see a 3-0 here.
Of course, Chelsea themselves haven't been so active in the market after getting Ross Barkley. They still have their own problems around Batshuayi. They would like to have him out, but also still struggling to look for a replacement. We've had all sorts of names. We've had Llorente, we've had Benteke, we had Peter Crouch at some point.
And Jack almost was on the line to join Chelsea and did
The deal didn't happen.
Yeah.
So that's still not happening. And Conte also is still unsettled, especially like you mentioned, Michael Emenalo after that departure of Michael Emenalo.
Yeah.
They've had problems in the backroom stuff.
Yeah.
And Conte is a coach that might be expected to leave at the end of the season.
Yeah, totally.
There's been mention of Luis Enrique.
I think even in his body language during the press conferences, I think one time even mentioned that there's no good relation with the backroom staff. So I think there's a problem in Chelsea.
Of course, Chelsea will be hoping that doesn't affect their performances. They've had some solid performances of late.
Yeah.
Eden Hazard coming into that side, brightening up at this point in time with Manchester City almost putting 200 million for him in the summer.
I thought Batshuayi should have stayed in this team. I think during the FA Cup he got a couple of goals. Of course, we knew Morata wasn't available because he lost a close friend, and Chelsea Football Club said they were going to give him some time off. We don't know what time off meant. Maybe he could be back today. But why doesn't Chelsea keep Batshuayi, Tony? Do you think he should move and then look at the likes of Llorente? with all the respect to
They are
Tony,
standards.
but I don't think he's a player who can come in.
Of course, there's been that conundrum around Giroud and Aubameyang.
Yeah.
They are saying that they would like to get Giroud from Arsenal to replace him
Yeah.
as a person that has been scoring lots of goals for
Yeah.
Arsenal. Of course, even when he has frustrated in some point.
Yeah.
But getting in Giroud and letting Batshuayi go would be a better deal for them.
Yeah.
If they can't get Giroud though, then I
Yes,
suggest
yeah.
they stay with Batshuayi, a player who also needs to show some effort, especially we are in a World Cup here. I'm sure he'd like to travel to Russia with the Belgium squad.
Yeah.
So we'll be hoping and praying that maybe he will have something to offer in his last couple of games if he doesn't leave in the next couple of hours. But we'll be waiting to see what that happens. Bournemouth, though, who have struggled against Chelsea, have King, a very, very fantastic player there in their ranks. Callum Wilson, a striker who hasn't had much of the season, but we've seen him trying to bounce back from that long injury layoff. And Jordan Ibe, who finally got a goal against Arsenal. So we'll be hoping that maybe these guys can be able to cause some issues.
Yeah, so this Bournemouth side is good when they are going forward. They have Fraser, very fantastic young man. Yeah. So once in a while you can see sparks from the team, and it depends on the approach. Of course, we know Eddie Howe doesn't love defending, so he'll tell his boys go forward. It depends on how Chelsea manage this game, I think. So allow them attack once in a while, hurt them, get another goal, frustrate maybe the third, and then maybe they'll see it off. But I still think even with these ammunitions in Bournemouth, Chelsea should win this game.
Of course, Chelsea should comfortably win that one. Bournemouth in 12th place, looking like they are safe, but no, they're definitely not safe on 25 points. Like we said, the bottom club are on 20 points. So that's just 5 points behind the relegation sides. That's not comfortable at all, and anyhow, and this team will be looking over their shoulders. But of course, in the last game of tomorrow night, we have Man City. In one of the last games, Man City hosting a West Brom side fresh from beating Liverpool in the FA Cup 3-2. That game marred with with video assistant referee controversy.
Yeah, Tony, the VAR was what everyone complained about, and Klopp said it should have been 10 minutes spent on the VAR, and he expected same additional time. But unlike Liverpool, Tony, this Man City, of course, we call them the champions elect. They should be marching for this trophy. These are sort of the games they will always see off. And Alan Pardew will try to push his boys. He knows he's on 20 points, same level with the bottom team, that's Swansea. So he'll try to push. There is nothing to defend, Tony, for Alan Pardew's side. West Brom must play every game like it's a final. They must pick up, and this is a final of 90 minutes, no extra time. So we shall expect these guys to attack Man City also once in a while, but City will be too good for this side, and I think they'll win.
Of course, West Brom have already brought in Daniel Sturridge from Liverpool, like I said, a player who is very, very fantastic. Against clubs like this, you'd expect him to turn up. We don't know if Alan Pardew will feel confident enough to start him immediately, but he will definitely hope to give him a run, because these are the games for which Sturridge has been brought. Solomon Rondon has been flattering to deceive. I don't even think he has 5 goals in the league. So it's a big problem. It's been a big problem for them up front. They've also brought in a defender from Zamalek, and of course that's after tying down Mr. Ahmed Egazi, who came in on loan at first from Al Ahly. But Man City this afternoon signed the most expensive player in their history, Aymeric Laporte from Athletic Bilbao, a defender.
It's surprising. That's why I say it's surprising, Tony. Your most expensive player can't be a defender, and I do not know. They say Mourinho loves defense, but if you look at Guardiola's history in Man City, almost all the signings have been defenders, Tony.
Big money signings.
Imagine Jones is there. And I'm starting to wonder, is this guy going to partner Jones? Because Jones is expensive. It was bought at about 52 million. And then Otamendi has been at the peak of his form, Tony. You don't drop him. So maybe is this guy going to play the left wing where Mendy vacated, and maybe he's coming back next season. So I don't
expect the 57 million guy to be on bench.
He cannot be on bench. So Tony, it's going to be a conundrum in the Man City defense that only Pep can sort out.
Of course, there's been a talk of Eliakim Mangala, who is one of the backup players, that he might be going on loan to Newcastle. We'll see if that transfer will materialize in the last few hours of the transfer period. But of course, they've not bought any players up front. A place that we had thought that maybe with the long-term injuries to Gabriel Jesus and now an injury to Leroy Sané, he would have been hoping maybe to bring in one or two players. They failed to get Sanchez, of course. Manchester United snatching them just under their breath there. But we expect that maybe Bernardo Silva will come in to deputize for Leroy Sané.
Yeah, Tony, we've discussed it. Leroy Sané has his own different ingredient. He brings something different to the table.
Direct attack.
He's so direct and gets to the defender with a lot of pace. That's not Bernardo Silva. And yet Sterling has delivered the goods from the right, so you will not want to take him to the left.
Destabilizing.
Exactly. So it's something that Pep has to now take these few hours and decide with his backroom staff, because he missed out in Alexis Sanchez, and yet he has one number 9 now with Gabriel Jesus injured, and now you have Sané off. You must be able to find some replacement, and I'll not be surprised if he goes to the market shortly.
Of course, it will be interesting to see what Manchester City does in of course, after Leroy Sané got injured. We'll wait to see what they do in the last minute. We won't expect them to go mad. I think Pep Guardiola made up his mind that he won't be buying anyone, and he has talked to his club hierarchy to get him 200 million next season. To get Eden Hazard from Chelsea. We'll follow that story very, very interestingly. But buying Laporte for 57 million, player with no caps at international level, it's 23 years of age. That's a big outlay.
It's massive, and I ask myself, is this going to be the same guy like United bought Lindelof, and from nowhere he cannot even start in the I'm looking at something like this, unless Laporte is really an excellent player. Less way, we cannot judge him without watching him play.
Of course, we know history has it that Athletic Bilbao has very brilliant young players. We've seen lots of interesting players under Herrera who are going to Manchester United and doing very, very well by any standards. I don't think that he's getting the credit that he deserves there. But we'll definitely wait and see. We won't expect Laporte to start tonight.
No, Tony, at least he'll be at the stands watching out his teammates.
Of course, there will be interesting football. We'll have most of the other predictions from the other games that we haven't talked about. We'll bring all those predictions on our Facebook page. Make sure you tune in and check those predictions. Share your predictions with us, and let's see what you think about the games. Tell us what you think your team has done well or badly in the transfer market. What do you expect them to do in the final couple of minutes? Like we said, the teams that wait to do it at the last minute usually miss out because they have a game to play.
Yeah, Tony, we've said that there are going to be games tonight and tomorrow night, and we do not expect the coach to be making calls and confirming which player should go out, which player should come in when his team is in action. So it's wrong for teams to wait for the last moment. We've seen Andre Silva, I think, who missed out a full half season because of paperwork in the last, it was 15 seconds, I think, that's what they said. So why don't teams do the business in the first, say, up to 25th of the month, and then just see out the last 5 days, just in case you need an addition, like the Man City case now would say, oh, they lost another player, maybe replace him. But I don't know, and Arsenal is the culprit in this, Tony.
Do you think Arsenal might miss on Aubameyang?
We are still looking at things
because
like
the last in the summer they missed out on Thomas Lemar for reasons like that.
Exactly, and now we are getting news like Aubameyang is seen at the airport. Why not finish it?
Of course, Arsenal fans will be crying out for Aubameyang's transfer to be closed tonight. Yeah. Everyone will be hoping to wake up tomorrow to Aubameyang holding an Arsenal shirt. But like we said, Chelsea and Dortmund are still very adamant. They want those transfers to only happen if they get someone to replace in that round robin that we have. Batshuayi moving to Dortmund and Giroud moving to Chelsea. So we'll be following that story very, very closely. We'll be bringing you all this news, that news as it happens. And from us at the show tonight, goodbye for now.
Goodbye.